Seems like yesterday that myself and Ryan sat down for the first one of these. Incredibly, it's over 7 months ago, and we're still here in lockdown. No hockey, unfortunately, but I'm delighted to say that joining me on this episode is Ryan and also Dallas. Dallas, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. Trying to keep somewhat busy.
Looking very healthy. Where are you at the moment?
I'm back in Calgary with my family.
When did you make the decision to head back over to there? I mean, you did have, of course, you were due to get married this year, but I think that's been put on hold like everything else in this world at the moment.
Yeah. I headed home to hopefully see if we can work something out with the wedding. It didn't end up panning out and had to postpone it for a year. So I've been home since then.
And Ryan, as I said, I mean, nearly 7 months ago since we first did this, and not a lot's changed.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about today?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy times. But hopefully, I was just literally 5 minutes ago, I was looking at Sky News, and hopefully some news about the vaccine and the rollout and the start to getting back to the old normal, not the new normal, the old normal.
That would be nice. I think there's only one place we have to start off with yourself, Ryan. If you want to give us a little bit of an update, there was some what was perceived as quite big news coming out regarding the Elite League and the government releasing a winter support package. Can you tell us something more about that? Maybe some details. Is it a loan? Is it a grant? Or do you not know too much just yet?
Yeah, I mean, kind of going back, our accountants have been working hard, and as everyone along the team, to get pretty much every penny and every detail of all accounts over the last few years over to the government, and that's been kind of burning in the background for a few months, and obviously we found out, I think last week we found out that we were on the list for the 11 sports that they were going to fund. Unfortunately, we haven't had a whole lot of information as far as how that funding is coming back, who's all involved with the funding. You know, whether, like you said, whether it's a loan or a grant is two huge things. And then if it is a grant, does that mean that the grant is issued on the basis that we get back playing? So, you know, we're still amazingly still up in the air, still looking for answers. You know, we have to apply to Sport Scotland, or sorry, Sport England, and go from there, really. So we're hoping to find some answers out today, which is the 20th of November on Friday. But as of right now, again, we're still waiting on what that looks like. So yeah, it's good news that there potentially could be some funding to help, you know, in this much needed time. If it means that we need to get back playing, well, then we want to seriously look at that and make sure it's feasible to do so. And it would be an exciting time. I think the NHL did a great job with the streaming series. I think there's definitely an appetite, and at the elite level, I think it would be fantastic to be a part of something like that. And I know the guys would be hungry to come back, and I don't think it would take much convincing to get guys back playing. And over to the UK. You know, so lots of ends and buts, but the reality is, yeah, you know, the government just kind of rolled it out without a background and explanation of how it's going to work, apart from we would need to apply through sports.
Well, actually, that brings me on to a question from Mike Prince, who was just asking about the mini-series, perhaps in the new year, which was mentioned a couple of weeks or months ago now, for maybe the Elite League could get going in the new year. I guess the big question at the time was the outlay, but you'd have to have a guaranteed income. And that could be a source of that, but you don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take very long to put a business plan together if we knew exactly how much money we were getting, and if that meant that we had to play. Well, then we could put a business plan together to see if that would be feasible. We know that we could probably guess within 50 to 100 how many viewers we would get on a webcast from game to game. And we'd look at it. I know in Manchester's case, I think we'd be very pro it. You know, I think as long as Ultram is open, you know, Planet Ice is open, I can't see why we wouldn't look at it and be a goer. I know other teams may have to find alternative venues, like whether their venue's open or not. You know, So, but again, when you're looking at a webcast thing, it's not really necessarily where you're playing. You know, as long as you are getting quality ice time and practice time and game time to put on a good show, and I think that's all you need, as we've seen in other sports. So yeah, I mean it's exciting, but it's by no means as anybody sitting here and wrote a check to Manchester Storm for 400 grand and there you go. Story about it's far from that. So still lots of uncertainty. We are hopeful that there is something there, and like I said, we would be very willing to go and make a go of it if the numbers were.
I think it's possibly important just to mention that you mentioned it there beforehand. It's not just a blank check that's been written here. We don't know the ins and outs. There's still a lot of doubts involved. And the support of the fans is still needed. And it's been fantastic so far with the initiative that the clubs have been running. I mean, for example, the jersey launch that we've done, I mean, that's been really well received, I believe.
Yeah. By no means has anything changed as far as, our situation. It looked good on paper, and we're hoping that there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And worst case scenario, we just get put back in a good position to kick off next year, and able to sustain any downturn in sponsorship or even fan base, football. So, but no, we still desperately need the fans. We're still looking for new ways to engage them, and for them to continue supporting us. I think that's still very vital. Nothing's changed on that. And like you said, the jerseys that we did were fantastic. I think about 120 just showed up at my house for Emma to sort through and get out. So she's pretty fired up tonight about doing that on a Friday night. But what else are you going to do?
It's brilliant. I mean, let's give a shout out. It's Andrea Thompson. I mean, she won the 50-50 raffle and she gave the proceeds straight back to the club, which is just outstanding.
Crazy. These people are awesome. I mean, yeah, no, it's fantastic, especially at a time like this. I mean, everybody's hurting, and there's not a lot of people that are doing great. And the furlough program being extended hopefully has helped a lot of people. But no, I mean, and that's happened a few times. We've had jerseys given back, we've had money given back, and it just shows what kind of fan base we have, and that's pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so just mention it. I think it's worth mentioning that you can support the club. There's a whole new merch line out that's been released from the Storm at the shop. The Power Play lottery is still running in the background. The 50-50 raffles, the shirt raffles, it's still ongoing. We've had the likes of Debts Assist UK have already signed up, commitments along with Robert Walker Haulage. And big news coming out this last few days with Gameplan financials going to be on board as well, Ryan.
Yeah, that's such a unique thing with Gameplan. I mean, obviously Paul Sample's a former player. He's he when he envisioned what this was to give a pathway for predominantly British players out of the game, which now has turned into sponsorship as well, and then providing a secondary income for a lot of guys. And they've done an incredible job, and the guys that have been working with them have done an incredible job. And and it's one of those things where it's kind of a weird thing to ask, like, it's a very personal thing, but at the end of the day, they've given up so much of the revenue would come back to the club. And obviously they're using it as a real marketing tool, and they can promote the club. And, I think you're going to see, I think we're the first to pilot it, and we're the first ones, but I think you're going to see the majority of teams follow suit. I know they're in deep conversations with a lot of teams. So it's just about the fan uptake and the fans listening to what they can offer. And like you said, I'm sure he'll sell it far better than I can, but he's saving a lot of people money, for stuff that they probably already have in place. So it's just a matter of people's time, giving up your time for them to listen to you, see if they can put you in a better financial position, and everybody wins at the end of the day, which is what Paul wanted. He wanted to create a situation where everybody's either saving money and making some money, and it's a win all around. So I think it's a very unique thing, and with the way everything's going with the economy and stuff, I think they're going to be a vital asset and sponsor for years to come.
We won't go into too much detail because we've got Paul joining us shortly to who better to explain it than the man himself. But Dallas, Ryan mentioned there, perhaps a possibility still of getting going in January. You managed to get much ice time over there?
Yeah, that's kind of been one of the nice things about being over here is up until, last week, they ended up closing some of the rinks around here. But it's one of those weird years where there's a lot of guys that normally would be away playing or having leagues going. So it's been able to get out with a couple of guys who have some good ice times that able to kind of keep your legs under. It's tough, with how things are and with all the different restrictions and limitations, but there's definitely a lot of guys that are looking to get out kind of as much as possible and safely.
I don't think we're letting the cat too much out of the bag here, but I mean, the last time I spoke to you, it was for your signing release interview. I don't think we ever actually got around to releasing that in the end because things took a drastic U-turn. But it must be nice to have a little bit of time off and just rest the body, because you have played a huge amount of hockey the last few years.
Yeah, it's nice in a way. I came back here for the wedding purposes, and then with everything going on, I've had the chance to spend time with the family that probably haven't done in 10 plus years. So that's definitely been a little added bonus. But, you asked Ryan, going this long without actually kind of an end in sight for hockey yet, and being able to be together with the group of guys that you're so accustomed to. It's around this time when it really starts itching on you.
And it was your first year as captain. We spoke before the start of the season. We're out at the Shoulder and Mutton pub. I'm not getting my years mixed up here, am I? It was at the start of the season last.
Yeah.
How do you think it went from a personal point of view as your captaincy, and how do you think the team did?
There's definitely some growing pains with it. I was in kind of it's at a weird age, and where you are transitioning from kind of one of those younger guys that, when you got guys coming straight out of college and they're similar age, but then you kind of transition to one of those guys that have been around long enough and have kind of seen enough that there's definitely some growth to be made this year. But it was such a good group of guys, and a lot of older, really experienced vocal guys that kind of definitely helped with the whole process of it.
It must have been a huge disappointment with the World Championships getting cancelled as well. That must have been one of the real down points of the last year.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I know everyone was excited for it, especially after how things went last year. And personally, for me this year, there's the opportunity to go there with my brother, and that was definitely kind of an exciting point for us. And it's tough that it didn't actually happen and go ahead that way.
Joining us now is Paul Sample, the newest partner for the Manchester Storm, coming in with Gameplan Financial. Paul, welcome, and thanks for joining us, and exciting times ahead.
Yeah, pleasure, lads. Thank you very much for having me on. Been a while since I've done something like this, so I'll let you boys lead the charge.
I mean, for a little bit of your background, over 350 games played in the Elite League, so you were quite handy. I think you set Ryan up a few of his few goals that he got in his career.
No, I think me and Ryan always missed each other, didn't we? I think.
Yeah, we never played. He probably turned over a few pucks I pounced on. But...
Yeah, threw a few pizzas up. No, I think me and Ryan played for a lot of the same teams, but we always a couple of years apart. Like I was in Sheffield before you got there, and then I was in Cardiff before you got there.
Yeah.
And then I got out of the league a few years earlier.
What's say now you moved on from hockey, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was in your late 20s you moved on from the game. What made that decision? You may have no doubt you could have kept on going.
Yeah, I think last couple of years I had a few surgeries on my knees. I was playing in Belfast when my wife now was pregnant with my first daughter, and I just didn't want to bring her up moving from city to city, in a rented apartment every year. And I loved hockey. I loved every second of it. But I think 10 years was enough, and it was kind of like time to sit down, put down some roots for the family and get home, I guess.
Brings us on to where you're at now, a game plan. I mean, what exactly is it? For I've had a little bit of research, but I think it's probably better coming out of your mouth of what the company does.
Yeah, so Gameplan is a concept that's been around for the past kind of 5 or 6 years. Like we said, obviously, I played hockey. I retired, I think, 9 years ago. When I retired, I was fortunate enough to open a couple of bars that have been reasonably successful. But I've always been aware that, you know, when players get to the end of the career, most of them aren't as lucky as I am. I think a lot of the boys don't know what to do. Obviously, it's daunting. You know, I think the boys provide for their family playing hockey. And when it comes to, you know, that finishing, they've got to find something totally new to do. So for the past 4 or 5 years, I've knew I wanted to set up a business that provided an opportunity for athletes as they start to get out of sport. You know, the lads have got so much to offer. You know, the personalities, kind of natural salespeople. Everybody loves them. They've all got a story to tell. So yeah, we've had this concept for a long time. Didn't necessarily know kind of which direction it was going to go in. But met my business partner a couple of years ago, who has been in financial services for a long time. He told me about what he did. I told him about the concept, and obviously Gameplan was born from there.
So looking through the players that are already involved, I mean, the list is quite long and some high-profile names in there. Ollie Betteridge, Andy McKinney, spent a bit of time at the Manchester Storm, Lewis Hook, Craig Moore, Craig Peacock, and the list goes on. You mentioned it there beforehand, but maybe you could elaborate a little bit more. I mean, why ex-athletes?
I think that obviously the concept arrived because I wanted to do something that provided that opportunity. I think, you know, the majority of athletes, we don't make millions. No, we chisel away a career. We have an absolute blast. We love what we're doing, but we get to the end of that career and there's nothing in the bank. You know, the boys are starting fresh at 35 years old. You know, they're finding a new career, looking for a new trade, trying to find a new way to pay the bills. So that's why it was athletes. That's what we're passionate about at Gameplan, is creating that opportunity, and obviously seeing the boys absolutely thrive, which the guys we have on board so far have. I think, you know, at the very start of Gameplan, the reason we've got so many hockey players, so many high-profile ones, is because obviously I had to convince the guys to come on board to a business that was just a concept. So, you know, it started off with my friends. We've got Jonna and Ben and Matthew Toe, and obviously they came on when the business didn't exist. But we've been going for about a year and a half now, and it's going pretty strong.
Right, it's always something that you've been quite strong on about what players are going to do after, you know, they finish playing. We have the partnership with Salford University, on it recruitment with Dallas. How does it benefit the club? I mean, is it just purely financial? Is it help recruitment?
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, you know, this is one where it'll benefit the club financially from a sponsorship point of view, depending on the fan take up and how many fans are kind of willing to go through the process with the guys at Gameplan. And, you know, but on the other side, like I said, without giving too much away, we're able now to speak to some of our British guys about, you know, what the future holds for them, and put them in touch, which we've done recently with Paul, and provide potentially an avenue like that, which, you know, makes it worthwhile for guys to come and play for us, knowing full well that maybe in 3-4 years down the road, they can kind of set themselves up that they can walk right out of the game and into a job that they've already kind of put, you know, some cement in already. So I think it's been beneficial in that way. I think it's you know, anytime somebody's looking out for your future, it bodes well, and it makes guys feel comfortable with where they're playing and applying their trade. Obviously, for us, we got a lot of young Brits that are just in school, but we also have some guys that we're recruiting, guys we're bringing back that have an interest in this, and we think it could be beneficial for everyone. You know, it's just, I think in today's world, it's such a unique opportunity where there's very few win-win-wins, and this literally is one, you know, where fan base can save some money, get better protection, the club can benefit from that, and also Gameplan are getting out a great marketing tool using the Elite League.
Dallas, I mean, at what point did you start to think about what you're going to do after hockey? I mean, you're still, you know, in your peak condition, still playing. And how young when you decided that you had to have a plan for after the game?
For me, like I got pretty lucky. It was kind of my first year I played in the Central League, which Fitter knows is kind of more of the older guys that have kind of been little journeymans. And I had a lot of guys that were maybe playing a year or two longer than what they initially had envisioned to start off with, and just strictly because they didn't really have much plans for afterwards. And seeing how those guys are and how their talks are, like most of them ended up pretty well, but they definitely had those couple of years where after hockey was over, that it was some growing pains for them. So right away, I was lucky enough to kind of start thinking about that. At these levels and traveling around, you don't have the 5-year cushions that some of the top levels and top sports will end up having, some of those players. So when you start thinking about it, then it just eases the transition afterwards, and kind of your last couple of years of playing, you can actually just focus on that when you're not kind of stressing out about what's going to come next.
I'm interested to get perhaps all of your thoughts. Do you think these sort of partnerships where players can, work alongside the likes of Gameplan, even increases their career playing because they don't have to take that jump straight away? Maybe I can hand that one over to Paul.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we wanted to do kind of from the start is bring the guys on whilst they're still playing, whilst they're earning, their main income from the club. Obviously, there's quite a long kind of training period that the guys have to go through, where they go through all that kind of certifications and exams that we put them through. So without that, having that kind of, the financial burden of not earning during that period, it's great to bring them on whilst they're still playing. So they're ready to transition after that. I think it definitely can prolong their career because, I think one, it's a positive distraction. I think, athletes, they train a few hours a day and the rest of the time they kind of wander around sitting in Starbucks, looking at girls and having fun. So I think it's a positive distraction from the boys. And I think one of the things that kind of we wanted it to be is the boys can get out of the game when they want to, when their knees are destroyed and they're kind of 40 and they don't have to go and play in those lower leagues for less money just to kind of earn a living.
Ryan, how daunting was it for you when you decided that you had to hang up those skates?
I mean, it was different for me because I walked right into a coaching job that was there. So I didn't really have that, I didn't have that separation of the game or being forced out of the game or, I think that's the word. I think every guy that plays at a good level wants to leave on his terms. I don't think anybody wants to be forced out of the game. So, I was fortunate enough there. And of course I'm with the guys every day. So I haven't really had that separation, but I know a lot of players. I've played with guys that, struggled for 4, 5, 6 years after. I mean, it brings in the mental health side of things, and and it can really snowball from there. You can really lose a guy over a stretch when things aren't going well and trying to find their place in the real world. I mean, what we do is great. It's not reality. The things that we do on a day-to-day basis isn't reality, and when it's over, nobody gives a where and what you've done. You're in the real world, and you start at the bottom, and some guys just struggle to adapt. A lot of guys struggle to adapt, and there isn't many of these opportunities out there for guys, and whether this is going to be their forever job, it doesn't matter. It's a great pathway into the real world and how the real world works, and dealing with real people and real business. So I think it's a great learning experience, even if it isn't their career. So yeah, it's such a cool thing. I think it's great on so many levels, and like you said, I've always said we always offer the MBAs to our import players, and we always forget about the British players. And so I think it's just another avenue where, of course, we're big on getting our guys in school and our British guys in school and making sure that they're creating a pathway for after hockey. And this is just another kind of feather in that cap for guys around the elite league.
I think it's a good opportunity for the fans as well, because my previous experience with financial advisors is you usually get sold something when you're buying something already. So you go to your bank and then you get in your mortgage, and then they say, "Oh, what about this?" It's perhaps not the best deal for you, but you kind of take it because it's there. There's an opportunity there for the fans to get that. Sorry,
that's what I did.
Yeah,
me too.
I was like, yeah, I trust you. And then I saw these guys. I was like, oh man. I really was overpaying. Yeah, no, they got. I'd say like I said, the same with the will. Like they offer a free will, which, it's say I don't know. I think it's over £100 to get a professional will done, and these guys do it for free. And my wife Emma's been hounding me ever since we've had Nobi to get this order and get our things in order, and and nobody really wants to, but eventually you just go, oh, all right. But and again, I mean, I filled out less of a takeout order than I did for the time it took me to fill out my will. So, it's so easy the way they do it. So it is unique. It is cool, and I think there is a lot there for everyone to benefit from. And and I, like I said, I'm kind of proud that we're the first organization to take the sponsorship on, because I think you're going to see the dominoes fall. We'll see more and more teams jumping on board, because it really is a unique opportunity.
Yeah.
Any further link-ups for yourself there, Paul, throughout the Elite League? I mean, obviously you've got your various players with different clubs, but this is the first time that you've partnership with a club in itself.
I think for us, for the business, we want all the teams to buy in. I know the owners of teams, they usually don't have the kind of time or finances to provide those opportunities for people when they're done playing. I think Ryan and a lot of the owners do a great job offering the NBA and obviously helping where they can. But having the buy-in of the team and the fan base, obviously, to help kind of push the guys forward in their future career is massive for us. So we're trying to work closely with all the teams. I think, especially at the moment, it's kind of highlighted everything, because obviously we put something together that creates another revenue stream for the team. So what we offer is advice. We don't sell anything. We don't charge anything for any of our services. And we sit down, we give you advice on products you've already got, or what you maybe need to put in place. We're paid a commission from a provider. Obviously, that's split between the guys, the players, and the advisors and the team. And the fan base don't get charged anything, so it's free advice. The lads can save you some money. So for me, it's a bit of a no-brainer, really.
Plus, we've got you on there, Paul. I mean, Northeast lad, quite a hockey hotbed. It's a shame that we don't have a team in the Elite League anymore.
It is a shame. Well, I played in Newcastle last year in the Elite League, and they definitely shouldn't have been in the Elite League, playing out that rink in Whitley Bay. And
you got a new venue, don't you? You got a new venue going up.
Apparently, mate. Do you want to go half-as? We'll invest.
I read all about it. Yeah. Is that where the old one was?
No, it's on the other side of the Tyne, on the Gateshead side.
Oh, okay.
So the good thing about Gateshead, it's like Newcastle's little brother. So they want to just pump money into everything to try and be the next Newcastle. So it's unreal.
Yeah.
I went to Whitley Bay, watched a couple of games there. As you say, it made Murrayfield look quite advanced.
Yeah, it's tough. Finna, you played there a few times, didn't you?
A couple times. That is a tough go. I mean,
brutal.
You couldn't put your feet on the ground at all, because it was so dirty. So it was so gross. Half the lights were on, half them were off.
Well, my eldest daughter's 11, and I had visions of me taking her skating and everything. So I took her skating when she was 4. She fell over, the black matting around the rink. She fell over, put her hands down, lift her hands up, and they were just black. And she's like, "Dad, I don't want to come here again." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't blame you." So she hasn't skated since.
They played a bit as well, did they not? Is it the Metro Arena? I can't remember, because if I remember right, it's one of the darkest arenas I've ever been in.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That was a decent arena. I think that's just concerts now and boxing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was an alright arena. It was pretty. Yeah, it was dark though, but it was a nice venue. It
was just big and empty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think last time I played there, I was playing for Belfast, and I was ripping around in the warm-up, fired a puck off the crossbar, straight in the crowd, split this woman for about 20 stitches on her forehead.
Really? Did she have any insurance?
Well, now she would have been sorted.
Dally, have you been over to Newcastle?
No, I haven't made it up there that way. Heard too many good things about it, and thought I had to avoid it.
Oh, man.
We need to make that happen.
We'll have a pint waiting for you in Lola, isn't it?
Eventually, one of these days, when you can go for those pints.
Yeah, remember those days.
I know, mate.
Well, Paul, I really appreciate you joining us, and it's quite exciting. I know it might take a little while for us to actually see the benefits of this, the way things are. Who knows? We could have a hockey in January. We might not have hockey in January. It might be a few months away, but exciting. Please keep us informed and up to date with anything that you can bring us. Perhaps any more partnerships and players that you have.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me on, and hopefully we've got the hockey sooner rather than later.
And how can the fans get in contact with you?
I think the Storm have got a Gameplan email address, so we've got storm@gameplanfinancial.co.uk set up. any of the fans email through, we'll put you in touch with kind of one of your players in your area who signed off. They'll sit down, have a chat, and then see where we can help.
Sheffield players, though.
Pardon?
No
No
Sheffield
Sheffield
No
players.
Sheffield players.
No. We'll have to watch the rivalries there.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. You guys got any questions for Paul before he goes?
All good. All good. Good seeing you, buddy.
Class, lads. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Dallas, nice to meet you, mate. Never met you before. All the best, lads. Take care.
Cheers. Thank you, Paul. Thank
See you in
you.
a bit. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Thanks so much to Paul for joining us. I can get the distinct impression that both him and yourself, Ryan, are quite excited by this partnership.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way they've generously set it up, it could really benefit from a sponsorship standpoint for the Storm. But obviously, it's all on the fans and who we can market it to, and hopefully they can do what they do. And I can only speak for myself. They put myself in like our family in a really good situation where we just kind of took what was given to us. I think what everybody else does, and not knowing that you can actually kind of make them bespoke and tailor them. So yeah, they're really cool and really easy to work with, and and really generous with basically all the commissions that they make comes back to the team. So it could be a very, very valuable sponsorship going forward. And like I said, we're the first ones. We won't be the last ones in the league to take this up. And, so it is cool, and the pathway for the players, especially the young British guys to potentially have a career after. So it's a really cool idea and concept that they're working with and doing. You're seeing the guys out there are doing well and working hard at it. Especially during lockdown where there hasn't been any hockey, it's provided a source of income for a lot of guys. So it's a good thing. And I think I've known Paul for a long time, and he's a pretty successful business guy, and I think he'll make a real good go of this.
Whilst we got you here, Ryan, we must mention you've been involved a little bit with Blackburn. How's that been? You've been enjoying that?
Yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice working with our young coaching staff. Obviously, we had some skates there every Thursday. We had some ice and brought some of the locals out and skated, and it's been good. I mean, they've been doing a really, really good job building that organization back, up, and new owners in there trying to create a bit of difference, or they're kind of, in a sense, kind of mentoring what we've done here that they can kind of tailor there. And they want to get build up to have a real good partnership with the Storm, and so and they're really good people, really good guys, and so it's been fun. It's been fun to get on the ice and work with a different crew and younger kids, and and who knows, there's some really good players down there, and one day they could easily make the jump to the Storm, and it's just a really good partnership, and it's been a lot of fun for me to continue still coaching and teaching and being on the ice, obviously, till this previous shutdown. Now we're back waiting, but yeah, we'll see how they get along. If they can get playing, that'd be great.
And Dallas, one question that did come in for you was, what did you think about perhaps trying to get a playing role, a contract abroad, maybe even East Coast hockey back in North America or over in Europe?
Yeah, it's been a weird year where with everything going on, and then looking to see where things are at in different countries and that, and then some things come about around here, and then kind of gets put on hold, but definitely looking to stay on the ice as much as possible. Luckily right now there is enough people that are in the same boat. So, it's one of those years where if some the right opportunity kind of comes forward to continue playing this year, then that's definitely something I'd look at.
Be following any of the other guys? I see that. I mean, Critchy's gone back to Jacksonville for this year. You got Gags is Wichita, I think, along with Frankie. You're going to be trying to catch any of their games?
I'll try and see what happens with that. But I'm hoping that there will be some other games also to catch on.
And what's your plans for the immediate future? I know it's difficult to make any at the moment, but just hanging over in Calgary until you can come back over to Manchester.
Yeah, kind of for the time being, I got some things to do, kind of deal with and do around here, so that's been kind of keeping me busy. But just kind of keep options open to when I can get back to some normalcy, I guess.
How's Erin handling it, having you around so much?
Yeah, she's definitely in one. She's spent more time with me than I think she's ever have. So people got a little worried when this happened and the wedding got put on hold with all this extra time with me, that it was some other things going on, but she's doing good.
Ryan, what have you got planned for the next week?
Just some jobs around the house, I guess. Not a whole lot. I mean, obviously we'll, I'm hoping that we get some really good news, and we got to start recruiting and fast tracking getting guys in the country. That would be the best news, and find some housing. But yeah, no, I mean, we'll just the honey-do list and playing with Novi, and yeah, just kind of waiting around, making sure everything's in order, and like you said, ready to go. If we do get the call to go, we'll be ready to go. And yeah, it's been the dog days of lockdown here. Hopefully we get out on the 2nd of December.
I'm sure Emma's delighted at the fact that it could be getting you out of the house a bit more as well.
Yeah, I think she's ready for that as well. Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of alone time with the missus.
I appreciate you both joining me, and please take care and stay safe, and we'll speak again soon, I hope, and hopefully it's not too long until we can bring some positive news.
Sounds good.
Cheers, Max.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.